You open your eyes to see a vast pool of crackling, spitting lava, the streetlight above you swaying as scorching fumes drift out of cracks in the earth. In the distance, as you walk across the square, you hear a wooden board being ripped off a window where it had hastily been nailed the night before. You're in town, and you're playing Call of Duty Zombies again. Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. As I'm sure you've seen by now, teasers for the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies season have already started. And today we're going to take a look at what that new gameplay could look like powered by the next generation of video game consoles. The incredible work you'll see throughout this video is all thanks to Xela, and I think it does a fantastic job of showcasing just how far we've come in the last couple of years of zombies and video game development. Also, in case you're unsure, the stuff I'm about to talk about in this video is going to apply to all zombies maps going forward. I'm using Tranzit as a great example because this is a beautiful reimagination of it and I'm excited to see that in the future, but the same concepts apply universally. If you think back to the original Tranzit map from Black Ops 2, you'll probably remember there being huge amounts of fog between every bus stop and even within some of the main locations. In part, Treyarch chose to include this to create atmosphere, as they wanted the player to feel suffocated and claustrophobic. But the fog also served a different purpose. Without the fog, the player could see huge distances across the cornfields, for example, and long sightlines means more objects in the map that need to be loaded in and displayed neatly so that the player can see them. On older consoles, there was only so much that they could load in at any given time. They were limited by the technology. And so the fog helped to reduce sightlines and keep the player focused on a smaller play space. This meant the consoles had to work less hard, and there weren't constantly objects popping in and out as they were loaded into and out of the game's memory. I think you'll agree, it sounds like a decent solution. Now, the montage at the start of this video shows, yes, the original version of Tranzit, but it's got the fog removed. Skip back and take another look at it, and I think you'll agree, it looks strange, with huge sweeping areas that don't have any detail at all, and even some holes in the world itself. All of this is revealed simply by taking the fog away. This wasn't just an issue in Black Ops 2. Do you remember loading into maps like Gorod Krovi on PS4 and everything looking undetailed, like it was made out of clay? This was actually a manifestation of a different solution to a very similar problem. Low-resolution versions of objects would be streamed in from the game's memory first in Black Ops 3, so that the player knew they were there, and then when the game streamer caught up, it would load in the higher-resolution versions of those objects. These are called LODs, levels of detail, and are a standard technique in games, but they were especially apparent in Black Ops 3 because of how much work the game streamer had to do to constantly load the world in for the player. There was a huge amount going on, and they pretty much streamed everything for the first time, so it had to do a lot of work. Thankfully for us, next-generation hardware pushes the limits on this problem way back. New advances in drive performance and faster memory mean that, in theory, we should be able to travel faster and see further within game worlds without the loss of visual fidelity that you would have expected in the past. We're therefore moving towards a future of less fog, and a super detailed, crystal clear Tranzit would be incredible to experience in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, fog included as a stylistic choice I am totally here for, that's 100% fine. But I would really like to see what devs can do when they're less held back by the technology that they're developing for. And if artistically it makes sense to put fog in a space, then for sure, go for it. But if it doesn't need to be there, but you kind of need to rely on it to cover stuff up, then I'd like to see that go. All of this ties in with another massive change since the original Tranzit came out, and that's video game lighting. Next-gen consoles support ray tracing, as well as a long list of other recent advances in lighting technology. And in my opinion, one of the best ways to make a game world look more pretty is to throw in some beautiful lights. What you're looking at right now, this incredible reimagination of town, shows this so well. The glow of the lava combined with the volumetric rays shooting out of cracks in the road It's just beautiful. And combined with some smart decisions around the color palette of the skybox means that this is one of the most beautiful maps I've ever had the chance to play. That deep blue and orange contrast is stunning, and it's enhanced even more when I start firing off my ray gun and you see the bursts of green and red traveling through the map. It's just fantastic to look at, and I think Treyarch will no doubt be looking to not only match, but also surpass this in their Cold War Zombies season. Now, talking of lighting, it looks like Treyarch are going to be forcing the player to rely on a flashlight at some points in the new map, as they've teased in the gameplay. I think you probably reach this area fairly early in the game, as you can see this player still only has a 1911 pistol. This would also line up with the theory that maybe there aren't any lights on because the power hasn't yet been turned on, and it will all get a lot brighter and you won't have to worry about your flashlight as soon as you do manage to find that switch. It remains to be seen though whether this bunker-like building, where bombs apparently are being stored by the way, in case you missed that, is attached to the main Nacht building or located in a different area of the wider map entirely. But either way, it should give players a good opportunity to do some urban exploring, and looks like it'll set up some pretty scary moments as well. Is this a part of Transit that we never knew was there? Maybe it's actually teased on the original map and we just never noticed. Has Nacht been hiding a secret weapons facility all this time? Where exactly are we?
A better question is, when are we?
All these questions will no doubt get their answers in due course, and I'm really excited to see where the zombie storyline is heading now as well. There's room for this to be an Aether story reboot, a completely new story told with elements of the old Aether story that we know and love, or they could simply be telling another tale from the Aether universe that took place alongside all the events that we played through in World at War to Black Ops 4. So, regardless of whether we just get Nacht on Toten on launch and Transit is a DLC or even a map in a future game, or if we see something else entirely, I am so excited to see how Treyarch Zombies is going to evolve visually, graphically, and that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface on the gameplay itself and how many amazing, innovative changes could be coming this year on launch, in DLC, and beyond. So, with all of that said, I'd like to turn the question back on you. Let me know in the comments down below what you think would be the most exciting thing that Treyarch could add to Zombies this year. And while you're doing that, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to turn on notifications, as I'm going to be posting a huge amount of Zombies content this year and it would be a shame for you to miss it. Thanks so much for watching, I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you soon in another Zombies video. Bye for now.